Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Henry Haight. Thank you for visiting, and this is probably a video that is a long time coming. Normally when I talk about my tattoo work, I normally talk about my tattoo work when I'm tapped for large corporate gigs, you know, like Nissan Motors. It kind of comes along with, you know, the gig, you know, with Pred Ferry, Diageo, Justerini and Brooks, Sony Music, those type of things, where my clientele come into play with the commercial side of the project I'm hired to collaborate on. Primarily, one of the main I'm known for is tattooing Amy Winehouse, and I knew Amy, I met Amy starting in 2005, around, I want to say August or September. And then I knew her up into her death. The strange thing was that I had had the album for about 6 months, and you know, I was aware of her, but in my head, I always imagined, you know, this big Jewish girl being, you know, 6 foot, va-va-voom, you know, voluptuous, you know, full of bravado. And when I, it was a Monday. It was in the fall. I want to say it was either late August. It was a slow month, and a lot of my staff asked to go home because it was Monday, nothing was happening. Everyone shot their wad over the weekend, and so I sent everyone home. And it was around, I thought, yeah, I'll spend the last hour just, you know, toiling around the shop and doing whatever. And my shop, Prick in Shoreditch, I worked really hard to build that, but I'd been there 19 years, and would I know that this little Jewish girl would walk in and change the trajectory of my life forever. I mean, seriously, forever. She was alone, and I remember I had just did a piercing because the piercer also left. He's like, oh, I got to go meet my girlfriend. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, go. And I was there by myself and cleaning up. And as I came out, there was this little girl, this little petite thing, sitting on, I had these 1950s bar stools, and she had her ballet slippers on. She had her fucking feet on my bar stool, but the secondary one near the reception counter. And she was ripping out pages, just like, you know, and my receptionist was the last to leave, and I actually thought she had given her one of my books that were underneath the reception, where people could look at, you know, so look at reference for ideas and stuff. And it was a book called 1000 Pinups by Tashin. And you know, and me being the hothead that I am, I'm sorry, I have a PhD in bitch. I am a fucking motherfucker. If my switch is to slip to evil, and all I seen was this girl reading a book that I thought was mine, and I fucking said, "Are you fucking crazy, bitch? Have you lost your mind? That's my book." And she's like, "No, I brought this." This was like, you know, and you know. The weird thing was that trying to make sense of who she was and sitting there and trying to process, okay, it's her book. And then I realized who she was, and I didn't say anything, but I was like, holy shit. And she was very shy and very timid. Now, the thing about Amy, like all people, there's always a duality. And a lot of people, like I have my good switch and I have my bad switch. But, you get a few drinks of me, yeah, it's going to go up. But I'm not always that way. But, but she was extremely shy, very, very timid, and she was adamant she wanted a tattoo right now. And I was like, okay. So I looked at all the pages that she had strewn on my countertop, and there was a good 30 pictures. And she started to describe why she wanted this tattoo. And she said it was for her nan, Cynthia. And she went on to state, and give high praise to her nan. And, meeting Amy's family over the course of the years, I've been very fortunate to get a little insight to the actual person as opposed to the persona. And I have an understanding of where Amy gets her bravado and where she gets her timidness and her girliness. And, the dad on stage, that's Amy. Amy on stage, that's the dad. Amy in life walking down the street with her friends, that's her mom. Her generosity, her mom. And Janice is a lovely woman, and I've been very fortunate to meet both of them over the course of the years and have them include me into stuff. And I truly thank them for inviting me into helping their cause. But that day, I was just like, okay, I didn't want to. Coming from Los Angeles, you meet so many famous people, walking down the street, no one bats an eye. It's like, okay, it's not like the Oscars. It's just like, oh, they're so and so, and they're so and so, and like, all right, it's just, celebrity country safari. London is a little different because they just leave people alone, and I think because Europe has more respect for the arts, they just kind of let people be. And so I didn't say anything, and treated her as normal. And she said she wanted to pin up. She wanted it very crude, and she wanted it to look very rough, very aged. She didn't want the traditional. She wanted a traditional tattoo, but she didn't. She said, I want it to look like it's been on a build, like the type of builder would have. But she's like, I don't want it pretty. I just kind of want it to look like vintage, but kind of very crude. And but when she spoke of her mom, her nan, she said that she was a very beautiful woman. She mentioned Sophia Loren, Gina Lollobrigida, these and women at that time, they were decked to the hilt. They were, but shoulders back, show the rack, and inner room titties first. They were put together, and there was this little petite. She came to my chin, and virtually, there was no bouffant, there was no nothing. It was just this girl, and she was saying high praise of her nan, and that she was the one with the fist that she did what she said, and she's like she wanted to give tribute to her. So I was like, all right. So I looked at the pictures, and then we said, well, out of the three, we chose one because she had very skinny arms, and again, this whole time I was like, how does this big fucking voice come out of that little broad? Because it's just short. And, I said, okay, so I started sketching. So she's like, no, change this, and the thing about Amy is that when her mind is made up, you can't change her mind for fucking anything. Jesus Christ, even with the Jaws of Life, she's like, no, and ugh. So I drew something up, and what is known as a Cynthia pinup, and then I said, okay. Normally the practice is you sketch something quite crudely, and then you're like, okay, let me clean it up and let me do this, and I did it within 5 minutes. It was just like, and she's like, yeah, that's perfect. And I said, okay, let me do this. She's like, no, just like that. And I'm like, well, no, I want to make it a little prettier. And she's like, no, just like that. And I'm like, and she was like, no, it's like, it's perfect. Just, just simple colors, black and red, black and gray, and, when I did it, it took me 5 minutes to sketch and virtually just kind of like streamline a bit, but I really wanted it to be, because when I think of pinups, it's primary real estate, and you just think you're gonna fucking, give them some show. And she was like, no. And I said, okay, and she's like, I don't have much money. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll hook you up. So we sat down and I started to do the tattoo, sat up, and without even missing a beat, she's like, do you mind if I smoke? And I was actually going through the ritual of like getting my needles and putting the arrangement out. And before I could even say yes, she, and I liked her. I liked her immediately after that, because she wasn't overbearing. She was charming as hell. And the thing that I've noticed about Amy is that when she's comfortable, she is just herself. And I think that when she is feeling uncomfortable, she can be pulled back a bit and be quite blunt in a way, but in a more protective way than which I think would be anybody. And again, this is before social media and the boom and stuff. And I called my partner and I said, okay, I'm going to be late, but it's really good. It was like it's just me and the dog in the studio, and her. And the tattoo shouldn't have taken more than an hour and a half, and we were there for 3 hours talking. We talked about everything. And the weird thing was that I never thought that this would become something, I don't want to say bigger than myself, but it was so recognizable. And I tend to call it my Sonic Youth tattoo, because most people look at Sonic Youth's album Daydream Nation as their pinnacle masterpiece, and people love it, but Sonic Youth think it's badly played, it's out of tune, it's this, and for me, when I look at Amy's tattoo, the mouth is the fucking thing, because when I was like talking to her and stuff, and I was about to, she moved, and there's a little, and I was like, fuck. And because it's so small, I thought, fuck, if it's just gonna make it worse. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to, and I was just like, leave it, just leave it. But that's what I see, and I did the pinup, and then I did the Cynthia, and I wish I could have done, the leg shadowing a little darker. I should have done, just 2 gradients darker, just to fucking, but it isn't representative of my work, because I'm trained as an all-rounder. And all of a sudden, she started coming in, and I met her friends Katerina, and I started tattooing her hairdresser Alex Foden, Alex Clare, who I used to have a mad crush on, and she was dating. I had tattooed him several times. Pete Doherty, as well as a few others. But London is a very big city, but if you're in the right certain cliques or scenes and stuff, and like within the music scene or the arts, I don't want to say the hipster scenes, but certain people know each other from certain circles, and they kind of 6 degrees separation become 3 to 4. So I really got to know a bit of her circle, and when I look at that tattoo, it's amazing how many people really want that piece. And the weird thing is that it is pirated left, right, and center. I don't make a dime out of any of those decals and stuff. In fact, I have now started to copyright my work, because I plan to stop people from selling these. I don't plan to like, hey, Amy Winehouse tattoos, blah 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 blah. But the only tattoos I will actually reproduce is her signature or the double hearts. I'll mention this in a bit. But the pinup and the horseshoe, and the little nudie girl and everything else. So the Hello Sailor, they were done at different times. And with the pinup, at the time in 2005, she said she didn't have a lot of money. And because I was a fan, I normally I would have charged her 200 quid, but I ended up charging her only 120. And, a few years back when I was clearing out my shop, I came across her disclaimer, because you have to keep disclaimers in tattoo shops for so many years for record and stuff. And I thought, oh, I should keep this. And I have all those memories in my head and in my heart, because anytime she came into the shop, she was always cordial to anybody who was there, who like and even after Back to Black, things shifted where she came in bodyguards, and she couldn't take the tube anymore, and she was now Amy Winehouse. And the weird thing is that people see, when I look at her, I don't see the eyeliner and the beehive and the tattoos. I see this very funny, timid girl. And true story, a couple of days after I did the tattoo, she would come in sometimes. And the second time she came in, because my dog, when my dog wanted to go home, my dog had a habit of sitting actually across my feet under my clip cord to let me know I want to go home. And she would stroke the dog, and we were just chatting, and she came back and she said, "Can I walk your dog?" And I was like, "What?" Like, well, I have a bulldog, and she's like, she can be very, very stubborn, and she's like, "It's okay, yeah, can I walk your dog?" And on Frank, she's walking two dogs, and she loves animals, so I said, "Okay, you can walk her if she'll go with you." And lo and behold, I gave her the lead. She's like, "Come on," and my dog Jolene went with her. And I was like, fuck me. And, I scratched my head and thinking, shit, because some people, I had a beautiful dog, and, people are always trying to steal dogs in London and try to breed them. And my dog would turn into fucking concrete and just, like daddy, like daughter. But she went with Amy, and an hour passed, nothing. An hour and 10 minutes, nothing. I actually started to worry, because I thought maybe 30 minutes she'd be back. An hour, I was like, okay. And I remember telling my receptionist assistant, pull her thing out, like, see if I can find her number. And we were looking, and about an hour and 20 minutes later, Amy comes in with the dog and Jolene, and she's happy as can be, and she played with her for a bit, and she's like, okay, she's like, I was talking to a client when she came in, and she's like, "Can I use your phone? I don't have any money on a credit on my phone." So when I turned around, she was already on my phone behind the counter, just like, help yourself. And the funny thing was that I'm very thankful that I got to meet this amazing individual, and there are a lot of memories in my shop, and when you meet something like that and someone, it's you feel like you met this wondrous, beautiful thing. Um, we got on like a house on fire, and uh, 2 days later, she came in. Um, she bought Jolene a toy, and she sat with her on the shop floor, played with it for 20 minutes, and I regretted never getting a photo with her and Jolene, because these were two things I truly came to love. Because Jolene was a rescue. I'd only had her 2 years, and she was still a puppy. And Amy would love to walk her, and when Jolene saw her, she'd get up off the sofa and like want to play, or go with her. And I over the years I got to know Amy, and the weird thing is that tattoo just changed the trajectory and shift for me, in a sense that I didn't think I was creating anything great or iconic, and I do believe that people overuse that word, but I didn't even know. I will say this: I didn't know that I was going to be in the presence of an icon, because to me that's what she is. And over the course of the years, I've met so many people globally, around the world. Ali, who's a super fan from Brazil, who's part of her Brazilian fan club. People from all over just wanting to get, from Sweden, America, Germany, just wanting to get a tattoo from me to bring the gap between Amy and themselves closer. And hearing their stories, hearing their loves, where they were, is amazing, because I think because the mental way that we treat things now, or how it's no longer cool to parody somebody's traumas. And as a recovering addict myself, I know what the grips of drugs and alcohol can do to you, and I know it firsthand, and been to rehab and overdose. I've even been sectioned, and I've had discussions with her about these things, and honest things. And I will say one thing, that when we were talking about addiction, I remember telling her straight to her face, one thing about addiction is it focuses you, because it's just you and the drug, or the drug of choice. There's nothing else, just that beeline. And it's Groundhog Day with your worst enemy. And through all of this, I've gotten to know the family, got to raise money for, the charity. I've been fortunate enough to collaborate with Fred Perry for the Amy Winehouse Foundation. Amy's face has been turned into Belgian chocolate by master chocolatier Dominic Persoon, who also became a client. Sony said, hey, will you do this stuff? The only downside of those tattoos is that people tend to think that they can take them and virtually use them. And the fans, especially during this whole thing with the film, my phone just blew up. And that's the funny thing about social media. It brings people together, and I didn't see, thanks to the fans, they showed me what the tattoos were going to look like, and I'm going to be but I think for me, like, when you see people who imitate Elvis, they put this caricature of like the glasses, the the quiff and the thank you very much, and the suit and the garb with all the rhinestones, and almost verging on Liberace, where it's no longer the artist, it's this caricature. And to me, when you see an artist, if you look at what Amy started off to, what she was going into, and then when she started singing with Tony Bennett, you started to see this shift of this woman. And I don't think people see that. They just think, oh, Amy is reduced to the beehive, the tattoos and stuff. And, that is my work. And I'm going to be very, very protective of it. And when I die, I do solemnly swear I am going to bequeath my copyrights to the foundation. That could be another, I'm not going anywhere for another 20, 30 years. So, but right now, the fans tell me when something is pirated, and I'm very appreciative of that, because it's amazing that I get to see how protective they are of this person, and that they want to share with me. Some are really overzealous, and and I will talk to them, engage with them, but sometimes they just want to continue on, and I'm like, it's 3 a.m, and by no means do I think I'm famous, or I've just been fortunate to do some really cool things with people, and I'm just doing my job. Because I think everyone now wants to be this public figure, and to me, Amy Winehouse is a public figure. Rosa Parks is a public figure. Winston Churchill, public figure. Some Instagram hoe, in a thong, not a public figure. She's a thought, or Instagram hoe, or Instagram model, not an Instagram star or whatever. It's no, but that's just my opinion. But I think that when someone makes a body work and leaves something behind of validity, they've created this iconic status, and I believe that that's what Amy's become now. She's become this sort of myth, and I've been very blessed and fortunate that I got to see that, and she put me up for jobs, and I was like, holy shit, wow. She's very, very generous, and I'm thankful to the family for inviting me to things and gifting me. I'm thankful for their praise of just my friendship, acknowledgement. Dear Henry, thank for all your love and support and the love you gave to Amy. And with love, Janice. Mitch gave me this one. Thank you for all that you do for us. Lots of love, Mitch. I raised money for the foundation. I curated a art exhibition with everyone from Dita Von Teese, Scribius Pip, Pure Evil, Ben Allen, Magnus Guion, and virtually, because I didn't go to the Shiva or the service, because certain people that I knew were going, I didn't want to be associated with, because I felt that there were certain stories that were coming out, and the weird thing is that a story came out about me in 2009 on The Sun, but in the British press tabloids they call it Pulling an Amy, and essentially it was a really nasty story over a former friend who sold the story to get back at me, and this is before cancel culture. So cancel culture to me is nothing compared to what I went through, because it was almost to do damage to me my mental health and my business. It was a full out hit job. And Amy stuck by me. I will never forget that. And it's weird talking about her and she's not here. And, so now when I do things for like Fred Perry or like with the London Design Museum, I try to do things does it represent Amy? Would she use it? Would she think it's cool? Would she wear it? And Naomi Perry has done a lot of fucking good work with, Ella Masqua, trying to get because Amy was quintessentially British. And I remember once telling her, gays love you. She's like, probably because I'm such a bitch. Well, we do love our bitches. But, she just shrugged it off and I'm thankful for the family of, showed me kindness and love and put me towards like talking to them. And, for all the parodies that people think about what Amy is, they will never understand the beauty that was inside that girl. And the void that she left behind with a lot of people. And when I did the exhibition, that was my way of officially saying goodbye to her, because the day she died, one of my close friends from Australia, her mom died virtually 30 minutes right after Amy, so it was kind of a double whammy. So July 24th, 27th is a hard day, because I always remember my friend Deborah's mother and Amy. But this is to celebrate the girl, mouthy broad, and she would pose with customers in my shop anytime they came in. And once I remember a girl screamed so loud, oh Jesus Christ, it was so loud, and Amy gave her a makeover right there in the lobby, and it was quite surreal just to watch that. I was like, and the girl froze because she would just come in to get a piercing, and there was her favorite singer sitting right in front of her, standing right in front of her, and she was like adjusting her boobs and like trying to make her clothes tighter. And this girl from Germany was like, and I'll never forget that. But I regret not getting a photo with Jolene and Amy. Fans give me artwork of Amy. I've been gifted this painting right behind me, a screen print of Amy as Elizabeth Taylor, and I have a gift from Mitch and Janice from the foundation of all three of Amy's records that I cherish, as well as this. That Naomi has done an impeccable job editing and putting together a book that is the woman, and it's just incredible what she's done. And that's the I gifted one of these authorized to the Jewish Museum to keep, because I think Amy would relish knowing that the Jewish Museum have her tattoo and you're not supposed to get a tattoo. But that was Amy. She was mischievous, and she would laugh, and she was chick was quick with her wit. I will give her that. And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about her. And sometimes I like to think that she's like looking over my shoulder, trying to like protect the people that she loved. Anything, because I don't necessarily believe in God, but I believe that, in a spiritual realm, in a sense. And I feel blessed that I got to know her over the course of the years up to her death. So with that, like I said, the only tattoos I will reproduce are the 2 hearts, or her signature. And, because I do take umbrage with, I think it's very cool that people give her tributes of her face and her likeness and stuff. And, it's weird because, music is such a huge integral part of my work. And here I met this individual, and it just became this massive thing. And I don't necessarily agree that fame constitutes success. Money is nice, but it comes with trappings, and you've got more problems and stuff. And so I think that if you try to do things that will just make you happy, and live your life to the fullest, because tomorrow may never come around the corner. But I feel truly blessed that I got to meet her. And with that, I will leave it there, because there's other stories that I have for each tattoo. But with the pinup one, that was just the beginning, of the Amy Cannon for me. I don't want to say it was a gateway drug, but it was definitely the portal into our friendship over the years, and I'm getting to really know her. And so for that, I'd like to say thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching and listening and taking the time out for this. Sorry, I'm a big old softie. Anyways, look after yourselves. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and keep on for more updates. Take care.